Welcome to Gaming with MJ and Blue.
Let's talk gaming. This is MJ.
And this is Blue.
Hey, Blue. What have you been up to? That rhymes. In gaming this week.
Great question. Yes, so obviously regular segment. This week, unfortunately, I haven't really played too much. I did play a short little stint of Hytale. I didn't really get to do a whole lot. Ran around collecting some materials mostly. But yeah, life has been quite busy this week. So unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot to really report on when it comes to all that. But I'm hoping to play a little bit more this week. I think my schedule has opened up a bit. And I look forward to kind of doing that. How about you, MJ? What have you been up to this week in gaming?
It's because you have a real job, you know.
Right.
Well, because we talked about The Long Dark just a little bit last episode, I don't know. I got like a little inkling of like, man, I want to play The Long Dark. And so I actually jumped into it just for a tiny, tiny bit. I mean, it wasn't, but just long enough to like get a little bit of start in it. I don't know, maybe it's 30 minutes. I'm not sure, but I jumped into it. I just started a Stalker run, which is not the highest level, but kind of high as far as difficulty goes. And I just jumped into it, and then I picked a really hard area to go to, and like an advanced area. And then I just the airfield. I went to the airfield, if you know what the airfield is. And so I was just playing around there. Well, the map there is very advanced because it's big and there's not much there. So it's a lot of like survival outside. So I ended up just like trying to make my way to the airport before I froze to death. So that was the idea. I ended up making it, and I found a few things on the way. So I was like, man, this just feels good. The atmosphere. It just does the atmosphere so well. Like when you're walking around, you're walking through the forest. Crunch, crunch, crunch of snow under your feet. Oh, it's just, I just forget sometimes how amazing that game is.
So what was the goal? I know you said it was mostly just to play around, but did you have like a specific goal of what you were hoping to accomplish just to get to the airport, or what exactly was it?
Well, you never know where you're going to land in there, like where you'll spawn. But I thought if I spawn anywhere near anything, just get in it and then get to where you can build a little kit, get more than just, survive, just to be able to stand in a room and not freeze to death. Because there is a certain point where you collect enough clothing that you're okay. If you just stand in a building, you're not going to freeze to death. Now, at the start of the game, that's not true. You can go into a building, you're still freezing to death. Because your clothes are in such horrible shape and you have barely anything on. So often you have to just jump right into a bed, and then that's the only thing that you can stay warm. But I actually wanted to get to a little bit more advanced than that, maybe even start a fire. So I ended up doing that. I started a fire, made some water, and got a little bit established. And then I was like, okay, I got it out of my system. I mean, I'll save the game, but, I just wanted to do that. That's it.
Now, was this like a hope that you're going to start regularly playing it again, or is it more of a you just got the itch because we were talking about it?
I just got the itch because we were talking about it. I have so many saved games. I mean, if I went through my saved games, I'd be like, what was I doing? I would spawn in and I'd be like staring at a door or something, and I'd be like, what the heck was I doing? What was I thinking? Now, there is a mechanism which I appreciate in this game, that you can write notes to yourself. What a great idea, right? For a game is to leave little notes for yourself. And so I always do that. I always leave little notes to myself. If you ever watch our buddy, what's his name? When he plays,
J-Man?
Yeah, he streams it, on Twitch. If you watch him, he makes extensive notes, I'm not that extensive because he really lays it out. Everything he left, everything he dropped on the floor is just all laid out. Crazy to me, but I just leave a little note about what I was doing next or where I was headed or whatever. So I have so many saved games. I could probably load any one of them and just take off and play. Maybe I should have done that. I don't know, but sometimes I felt like I was already a little too kitted out, because I'm always all kitted out on all my saved games. You know how you are. You do well, and so I didn't think that was a challenge. So I was like, I wanted a little bit of challenge.
Gotcha.
Anyway, so go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's kind of the one of the troubles with games these days is that when you're playing a game that you can basically continue with later on, but you haven't played in a while, getting back into it is really hard because all of a sudden you have to try to remember what it was that you were doing when you stopped playing. And that can be such a frustrating thing. It's almost like, well, I just feel like I need to restart because it's been too long. I don't really remember what I was doing when I was playing this last. I definitely have run into that with a few games. Like it's makes it very difficult to want to continue with your progress that you had previously because of that. So, but sometimes pauses in games and not being able to come back is just a part of life.
It is. I agree. And to have the beauty of a little bit of a note-taking ability is great. You can even take notes on certain days. You can take a general note, and then you can take notes on certain days.
Mm.
And if you go and it actually tracks your progress. Like, I've never seen a game like this that actually you could go back through a calendar in the game, and you could say it'll tell you like where you were, like the locations that you crossed into or over. Like if you go into a named location and it pops up on the screen and says you're now here, then it will record that on your journal that you went into that space. So if you entered into a building or you entered a certain area or something, it would record that. And so you could at least like kind of get an idea where you were headed or what you were trying to do in the game. So that's a beautiful mechanic. And I know that some games lend themselves to that in their mapping or in their note-taking or in their journaling or however they keep track of what you're doing, your progress, maybe a tech tree or something like that. Maybe there's some kind of mechanic that will help you. But in The Long Dark, they did it right. It was just, you just leave personal notes to yourself. It's like a calendar. You just write it.
Oh,
What a beautiful thing. Yeah.
So
you want to talk about, okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just thinking, can you think of another game that maybe struggles from that challenge of if you take too long of a pause when you get back to it, it's really hard to continue from your previous save? I could think of one right now, so I was curious if you could think of one.
Dwarf Fortress comes to mind immediately, and sort of like that game, like RimWorld, maybe?
RimWorld? Okay. I've never played RimWorld, but I have seen gameplay of it.
What's your game you got in mind?
Have you ever heard of Ixion? Ixion.
Ixion. No.
So this is kind of an interesting, it's basically a space ship, a very large spaceship. But what you do is you actually build a thriving ecosystem or colony inside this ship. And you're trying to travel through the space and the different star systems because you were a part of an experiment and all of a sudden mankind, Earth, everything's gone. It is actually a very challenging, it's a city builder and a strategy game all kind of tied into one. I actually really enjoy it. Like, it's a very fun game, but it is very hard. Like I've been trying to look up a few things here and there to kind of get a grasp of it, a little bit of a better idea of what it was. And thankfully I've watched a few tutorials that kind of explain it a little bit. A lot of people complained about it just being too hard to progress. And I kind of can tell, but at the same time, I think it's just a matter of learning the mechanics of the game. But that was definitely one where if I leave and then I come back, it's really hard for me to grasp where was I going with this? How was I structuring my ship to help my colonists survive? Like, this is a little bit of a detailed information type of game that doesn't really thrive well from long breaks. Anyway, I didn't want to go too crazy, but yeah, I recommend it honestly. If you like games like that, city builders and slight strategy, it's a fun game.
It made me think of Astronauts when you were describing it. Is it kind of like that?
I'm trying to think of what that game is.
It's one of those. I haven't. Astronauts. Ostranauts. It's like that. Like you're planning out a little spaceship. You're kind of building a spaceship but it's like a colony, and you have to keep people happy. You build as you build out. It makes more space, makes more spaceship, I guess, as you keep going. I think I don't own it actually. It's one of those things on my wish list.
How do you spell it again?
It's Ostronauts. AST. No, I'm sorry. OST.
OST.
RA.
Okay.
Ostronauts.
OSTRA. Oh, I see the soundtrack. N A
OSTRA. Nauts. NAUTS.
NAUTS. Well, I'll click on the soundtrack. That might bring me to the game. Well, I'll have to take a look later. But I don't.
It's very atmospheric, so I imagine it has quite the soundtrack.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Probably one of those things where I'll probably buy the soundtrack if I buy the game, but anyway. It's kind of neat like that. Like you build as you go, and I do enjoy some games like that sometimes. Man, we got to do an episode where we talk about the stuff that's in our wish list. I mean, I have 35 items in my wish list, and I am very, very picky about how I spend my money. I mean, my goodness.
I'm okay with talking about that as well. I will tell you, if I look at my wish list right now, I currently have 135 items.
135.
I'm not that picky.
I just prune it.
I need to prune it. Yeah.
I prune a lot.
Yeah.
And there's probably half of mine is not even out yet. Like you can't even download anything. You can't buy it yet.
Early access type stuff.
Not available. Yeah. Well, I mean, not even early access, not even out yet. It'll be early access when it comes out, which is, slated for August of 2026 or something.
Right.
Yeah, it's wow, long time stuff. Like there's an adaptation of The Expanse coming out.
Oh, okay. That's the TV show, book series, right? Yeah.
It's the book and TV. I never watched the TV show. I read the books. But it's called Osiris Reborn.
Okay.
The Expanse, Osiris Reborn. But they've got that. There's tons of other stuff. I mean, I've got all kinds of stuff that I've got. Mine's probably very eclectic, more quirky type stuff. But stuff I like.
Yeah. Yeah, the wish list is just kind of fun.
Mysteries and little builders and stuff like that. It's kind of neat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would love to have a deep dive into our Steam wish list. That would be fun. You know what else I would like to do at some point is a deep dive into some of our favorite games from our younger years. Like I can think of a few from early computer days.
Oh, yeah.
Like 90s computer days. That was my era, but I have a few in my mind that I would love to chat about. But we'll do that on another episode. I think we have everything kind of figured out for today, but we'll definitely get some show notes going for that one.
If we ever get into video podcasts, that would be very helpful because then you could show your list,
Yes. Yeah.
Go through it and like show the little previews or something. Well, you probably couldn't show the previews, but because of whatever, because of legal stuff. But
right.
It would be kind of neat to see the picture, so that people know what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But most of my list is probably not out yet.
Yeah.
And I wait for sales too, because I am such a penny pincher. Make those little pennies scream. Make them
guess that's
yell.
One benefit of indie games these days is they don't tend to price their games as high as the AAAs, and honestly, the indie scene seems like they come out with a lot of really good games, really enjoyable stuff to play. And to me, I think they're overshadowing the AAA companies these days with how good the games are. I highly approve. I feel like it's gotten a little out of hand with these big companies. But that's, opinions. Everybody's got them.
Well, in the last 10 years, I have probably purchased one AAA game.
Yeah.
That I paid full price for.
Yeah.
Because I was so excited to see it come out.
Mm-hmm.
And so thrilled. And then, 3 weeks of disappointment.
Oh, no.
the anger.
Yeah.
You go through the guilt, the anger, the 5 stages of recovering from buying a game, triple A game.
I thought that was grief. No,
It's in there.
it's in there. That's a part of it.
The self-hate.
Oh, yeah.
The wife looking at you like, you spent how much? This was your money, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we've all been there. Yeah, I actually played a demo this week too. It was called Earth of Orin.
Earth of Orin.
Yeah. Earth of Orin, Oryn. And it's kind of one of those where you're like top down isometric, I guess. And you're just building a city, but you're doing it like you're one person. I don't know. It's kind of a
Oh, okay.
well.
I'm looking at it now.
I mean, it's a base builder kind of thing.
Yeah, it gives me almost like Age of Empires feel a little bit.
Yeah. Resource management, that kind of stuff. Yeah. I played with that a little bit. There's a demo, and I played another demo. What was the other demo I played? But anyway, I was kind of looking around at stuff. I really needed something else because I was just playing the heck out of Hytale, and I really couldn't force myself to go over and click on Minecraft, because it was like, I don't want to. So I didn't, and I was like, I need to really find something else.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many games I want to finish and just be done with, like, what's that cat game?
Stray,
yeah. I gotta finish it. Once I found out how it ended, though, I was like, I kind of just took the sail, the wind out of my sails.
I don't know, so don't tell me.
Okay. It's not terrible, but it's not as upbeat as you would like.
Gotcha.
So don't take it too hard.
Anyway, it all depends. I probably will only get that game when it goes on sale, but it was definitely a game I was interested in.
I got it on sale. I think it was probably when it was first out. Like they did a quick sale when it was first put out, and I was like, I gotta get it. Yeah.
I've had a big love-hate relationship with story games over the years. I love story games, but I think the practical side of my mind, I'm like, if I'm paying this much for a game, and once I'm done with the story, then what's the point of having the game? I know that's not entirely, like, you can do a lot of other things, even playing the story over again, but I love the story. I've always loved the story. But the replayability a lot of times is not there. So it's almost like you're spending so much money on something that's one and done.
To me, those games better be cheap, because after I'm done with it, once I finished it, and you've gotten, say you played it a full 15 hours, and you went through it really slow, and you took your time, and you explored every little avenue, and then you played it, you played through the story, and you realized it was 15 hours, that better be $15 or less to me, because that's $1 an hour that I spent on that, and I will never play it again, right? I will never will. I don't know if you will, but those games to me, I would never play again.
See, for me, there are some games that are good enough where I won't play them for a long time, but I probably would play them again. But I feel like it would be more for nostalgia than actual, like, intense, I want to play this game. It's more of like I'm getting into a nostalgia kick, remembering, that, I remember about that game. That was really fun. That was really enjoyable. I loved this part of it. I loved this part of it. I should try to just boot it up and play it again. But that's kind of, I don't think all story games are really like that. So I do really appreciate games like Minecraft, like Hytale at this point too, where it's all up to you on how you do it. The game can be continuous, which is really great marketing, in my opinion. Really great way of continuing or selling, so to speak, a game.
Yeah. I think I paid about $19 for Stray, and I'm right at about 7 hours in. 7 hours through the story. And I know that there's probably at least 3 or 4 more hours left. And so it was right on the edge there where it's like, probably paid too much. So, I mean, I hope developers keep that in mind, that if your game is story and if you go through the whole thing once and it was less than 20 hours, then you probably better be less than $20.
Yeah. Everybody's just trying to
me.
make their money, so you probably won't see that very often, unfortunately.
Maybe.
Anyway.
You want to do some news?
Yeah. I appreciated the opening conversation, but yeah, we should probably get into the news.
Tell us what's going on in Minecraft.
All right, so Minecraft. So we had an update on January 27th, 2026. It's Minecraft 26.1 Snapshot 5. So continuing with the theme that they've been going through, Mojang has been working on revamping the visuals of all the baby mobs in the game. So what has been done at this point, they've now adjusted the dolphin, the squid, the glow squid, the turtle, and the axolotl. So now those have a new updated baby variant. They also added new baby sounds for chickens. I guess the chicken noise wasn't enough. I don't know. I guess we'll hear that a little bit more later on. But
I never thought I would need more baby axolotls in my life. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Whatever works. This one's pretty cool, though. I like that they're implementing this. They added the golden dandelion. This was really interesting because this flower will actually make it so that a baby mob will stay a baby mob. So you'll be able to use it to click on one of these babies and then they'll stay as a baby. The areas where I see this being very useful is if you're building a atmospheric village, town, farm, whatever, and you need to have a little variation instead of just the same adult mob everywhere. Or, you have some babies, but guess what? They're going to grow up. Well, now you can keep them as babies and those specific animals can stay in that area. So I can see some nice atmospheric value to keeping baby mobs as babies. They also have it so that you can also use the same dandelion to basically reverse what you did. So maybe you're done with this baby being a baby and you want it to grow up again. Well, you can reverse it by clicking on it with the dandelion. But yeah, it was just it was interesting. There was a crafting recipe with a dandelion and I think it was a gold bar or gold nugget, something like that. But they also said that you can't use the dandelion, the golden dandelion, on hostile baby mobs and villagers. So you can't keep baby villagers. I don't know why.
I guess it makes sense.
Maybe. I guess. I feel like maybe just because, I don't know. I feel like villagers are such a weird mob in Minecraft. Like, they have a value to a degree, but then the frustration of using them kind of, it doesn't really translate super well in the use case of a villager. So I don't know, putting a block on one more thing.
Yeah. You used to call them testificates.
Testificates?
They're a weird thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, if you were making a menagerie, maybe a zoo.
Yeah.
And so you wanted to demonstrate, here's what they look like, or have a little family.
Yeah.
In a pen or something. I guess that makes sense in some weird collectivism type of way.
Right.
I'm going to collect things. If it kills me, I will collect things.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I know some people will like it.
Baby cats would be cute. Little kittens.
I'm pretty sure
I gotta see them,
don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're cute.
They are cute.
I love them.
You love the cats.
I want to squish them.
Don't squish them too hard.
All right. Hightail. How about there were a bunch of updates. The 24th they came out with an update. So this is not the newest, but they did figure a lot of things out. And to me, this was good because they made the ability so you could turn off the armor. So you're wearing the armor, but it doesn't show. Because you spend a lot of time on your little person, your little character. So you want to show them off.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. And also, after you play a while, you kind of start to feel it where certain resource is kind of lacking. and you're like, why can't I find more of these? And so
Mhm.
the fact that they kind of followed that up with some more updates of like, okay, we'll make the different hides drop now, because hides are all the things you're always running out of. So they made it where medium hides now will come out of the bison, the boar, cow,
Mhm.
horse, warthog. So those things used to just drop light hides, but now they drop medium hides, which you're always kind of running out of. And it was only before, it was only like the coyotes or the wolves or whatever. And so it
Mhm.
was a little tough to get them. And the wolves were very hard at the time, but they've done a lot of adjustments. And I think we talked about that last time, but that adjustment on the magma toad,
Oh yeah.
where it was like killer, and now it was a death sentence to run into
Pretty much. Yeah.
into a magma toad. And I fought some even today. I was playing a little bit today, and I had a couple of them jump on me.
Mhm.
And I find that there's like a two-pronged approach I give to them. I throw as many arrows as I can in them as they
Mhm.
approach, because they approach in a straight manner, right? So you can shoot arrows right into them, right? And then as soon as they start attacking you, I switch to like the daggers, and that that seems to work.
Nice. Yeah, and now is that your go-to weapon in the game, is the daggers?
The sword, I've kind of gotten used to the sword, so
Mhm.
I was trying to do something else, and I think I like the daggers better,
Mm.
just because
Gotcha.
it has kind of a cool, you're a little bit further away mechanic
Mhm.
where you can kind of attack as like this jumping attack.
Right.
I kind
Yeah.
of like that,
Yeah,
and it
that
does
was
a
pretty cool.
lot of damage.
Yeah. I would not be surprised if they tweak that at some point. I think it might be, from what I've seen, it might be a little overpowered, a little too much, but
Yeah,
I mean, we'll
I'll go
see.
back to the sword if they
Yeah.
nerf it. That's fine.
And, when I remember when I was originally watching them talking about right after Simon purchased the game back from Riot Games, and he was talking a little bit about the function of the game, and he said that a lot of the other weapons, they don't have refined attacks and all that different stuff. A couple of them did, like the daggers as an example, but not all of them. So we can probably expect to see more things in the future as far as that being adjusted and changed. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what exactly happens. A couple other interesting things with Hytale, though. They talked about how they've added a bunch of cosmetic stuff, which is cool. The mining pickaxe progression has improved. I actually really like this. So now lower tier pickaxes deal a lot less damage than higher tier, or two higher tier ore blocks. So if I upgrade your pickaxe to a better quality pickaxe, it's going to make it a lot quicker to mine the ores. And I've definitely seen that the little bit I've gotten to play since this update. And it actually is really nice having even just simply just an iron pickaxe, like just one one step above the copper stuff, it makes a big difference. And then if you go with cobalt and all the other stuff, like you're doing really good. It makes things a lot quicker, which is cool. And yeah, going back to that magma toad, I am glad they're trying to adjust that thing because it was definitely a pain. And they added a new ability. Did you see that? They added the headbutt ability. So now it's
To the
not
magma
just,
toad?
yeah, now it's not just pulling you in.
Oh,
Now it can actually headbutt you and cause damage.
maybe it's doing that to me. I never noticed.
Yeah,
It was
that's
a lot of damage.
yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of does this red thing where it kind of makes you red a little bit. You can
Mm,
only see red for a second. And
mhm.
it's a little overwhelming, but that's all right.
Mm, gotcha. Yeah,
They'll make adjustments
that's
continually.
right.
Yeah, I've the whole thing about volcano. I'm now down at the volcano type areas,
Mhm.
and so when you're pecking away at those volcano areas, even the cobalt it takes like 6 or 7 hits
Mm,
to pull it out. That's a little bit weird, but so even though I've got a higher level pickaxe, it does take time to get through those more advanced ores and blocks, I guess.
no.
So yeah, you can see the progression there.
And there'll probably be more adjustments to that too in the future.
Yeah. What are they doing with hose? Hose now unlock at different farming branch tiers. So copper is now tier 2 instead of tier 4. Okay, that's nice. Iron is now tier 4. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, the farming bench,
Mm-hmm.
why does it cost so much to upgrade it?
Yeah, I
I
agree.
don't like that. And you know what's weird is it looks like it's mobile because it has wheels. It has big wheels.
Yep.
And I keep thinking, I'd just really like to carry that somewhere. Can't I just drag it somewhere? And you can't, of course. You have to destroy it and then rebuild it. And then you're back to, tier 0, or whatever they call it. So, yeah, that's kind of a pain, I guess.
I never liked that with any of the upgraded workbenches. Like the fact that it drops all of its stuff and you have to re-upgrade things. To me, that makes no sense at all. It's like once it's an upgraded workbench, it should be static. That should just be what that item is from now on. So that definitely doesn't make any real sense to me, but
yeah. I wish it would keep its upgrades.
Yeah, agreed.
So they made improvements to the visibility of the hotbar active slot by increasing contrast and adding a diamond indicator. I've seen that, and that does help. Anything that does that, my vision's so bad that anytime I see little helps like that, that's great. I love that. Makes it easier to see the hotbar, which is the active slot, makes it brighter. So that definitely helps. And I don't spend too much time in the, like the brighter areas, I guess, but like I guess this is supposed to help with the Howling Sands area.
Yeah.
And I haven't spent a lot of time there, but I have seen those improvements, and I can only applaud. Anything that's visual like that, it definitely helps a lot, especially for those of us that are sort of blind.
Yeah. Me and my wife, Vunder, also faced that as well. When we were in the Howling Sands, that area, it's like we could not see that bar at all. Like it was really bad. So I still think there's some room for improvement. I have seen the adjustment. It looks better, but I think there could be a little bit more they could do to make it even better than what it currently is. Just my opinion. Looking a little bit more at the Hytale news, again, there is so much. Like if you get into if you actually look up the notes, like you're going to see way more than what we're talking about. We're just kind of cherry picking different things that we enjoyed or thought were interesting from these news items. This one was good though. It talked about improvements to the player markers. So player markers now display on the compass. Removed the player prefix from the player markers on the map, and now player names are going to render. So instead of just saying player, you're going to have the names. They added a toggle button for the map and compass visibility in the map player list. And then players at different heights will have a different icon in the compass. That's the up and down indicators. So you're going to have a better idea if you're going to go try to find your buddy and says you're right where they are. You'll know if they're higher or lower from where you're at. So that's kind of a really nice feature that's going to just continue to improve the playability and the fun that you can have with friends in the game.
I do appreciate him putting that on the mark, as a marker. Because I had put in the mod to do that. It's called See Players on Compass. I added that mod to the game before the update, and that's what broke it. You told me, hey, the map's not working. I'm like, oh no. So I look at it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's probably it. And then I did the whole taking them all out and putting them all back in one at a time, and it turned out that those two were breaking it. There was 2 mods that were breaking it, but that one of them was that See Players on Compass. That one was breaking it, and that's because it was now part of the game. So it is nice that they take those little stupid things that people mod in that are just really smart, and they just go ahead and make it, make it part of the game. Yeah. That's very nice.
Agreed. Yeah, that was actually interesting with the broken maps, with what we faced in the game. For those of you that maybe have played around a little bit with modding with Hytale, they have some different map related tools, and when the map was broken, like you couldn't see anything when you went into the map. It was just like this blue haze everywhere. So it made navigation impossible if you were trying to utilize that as a tool. Basically, you're just playing vanilla Minecraft at that point. You have no idea where you are. You don't have a map, not really. So that's it was kind of frustrating because we had gotten used to having that. But if you are facing that issue, just a little note. Simon suggested this because a lot of people were facing this. You have to remove all the mods that you have implemented in the server first. Once it's running right again, then you can start adding your mods back one at a time. And then if you hit a mod that breaks it, then you'll know, okay, I can't use that one right now. So most people that are server admins that do these things, they probably already know that. But for those that are starting off, that would be a good troubleshooting process to get into as far as fixing something like that.
So that was the Better Maps mod that was breaking things. That was the one that was most of the problems came from Better Maps. But they finally released a new Better Maps, and I think that fixed it. So I haven't added that mod back in yet, but I guess I should before we go too far on the map.
Might be good.
Hey, that leads to our next section, which we've decided to add, which I think will be a good addition to the podcast. It's called Website Tool of the Week. We don't really know what to call it because I was trying to convince Blue here that we need a part where we kind of recommend something, just something little, like a website or a mod or something. And so we couldn't figure out what. So I just decided, you know what? I'm going to do one website and one mod. So that's what I did. And the website that I picked is, or do you want to go first?
No, go for it. I can end. That's fine with it.
All right. So my website of the week right now is it's a blog. It's called alexharry, alexharri.com/blog. And I want to point out in particular this one blog post. So it's /blog/ and then it's ASCII-rendering, ASCII-rendering, RENDERING. And what it is basically, it's a little bit complex. It's a paper that he wrote, more of a scientific paper, actually, that has to do with computer science, which that's what I do. So I got really into it. And what it does is it takes a way of rendering a picture only using ASCII characters. And so it does a nice way of like taking, and you can imagine this, right? Because you've done a lot of pixel art, right? I know that you've done it because we both do that kind of thing.
Yep.
We even did some animation in our time. We have tools for doing that, and it's fun to do. It's fun to make little animation and make little pixel arts. But the thing about pixel arts is you get into a lot of things like dithering and, what do you do with these blocky outlines to things, right? And so you kind of have to do anti-aliasing to be able to make like a slanted line to actually look like a slanted line. And so what you've got is you've basically got, you take a slanted line and put it on a grid. And so you've basically got these blocks that look like a stair step, right? Because you can't make a perfect slant. So it ends up being a stair step. Well, how would you code or write or build a picture of a slanted line where all you had was ASCII characters? And so this person took that approach. Like obviously, a character that fills in almost all of the character spot, the little spot you've got for a character, something that fills in a whole thing is probably like the pound sign or the @ symbol, because that consumes a lot of the character space. So obviously for like the middle of something, you might use that. But what about the edges? Say you just wanted to put something on a very edge of like, say, the lower left edge. Well, the lower left edge, it might be best if you use a comma or a period. And so he put so much thought into this and wrote this paper on here's exactly how I would do it. So a T might be useful in this scenario. An O might be useful in this area. The double quotes might look, because the double quotes are kind of high on the where in the area of where you put a character. So it might it might be something where you just want something at the very top of a character. So if you're drawing something and you're making a line or whatever, and you're using ASCII characters to make the shape or whatever, you need those things. You need those little pieces of where I just want the lower left corner, I just want the upper left corner, or whatever. And so he did that. He went through all that science of figuring out exactly what characters accomplish what, and he built this website to be able to do that. And he actually has some examples of code in there. Uh, it looks like Java code. I'm not sure, or maybe it's C# code. But in any case, I thought it was a very interesting read, especially coming from a computer science background. And wouldn't this be cool? Like if you could take a game that you like and say, hey, just render using ASCII. Wouldn't that be cool? I mean, wouldn't that be weird? But it would be kind of a neat. It would be kind of a neat graphics engine, And it would be a graphics engine that would give you a billion frames per second because it's just ASCII characters, right?
Mm.
So you could run it on any hardware, It would be kind of cool,
Yeah.
Anyway, I found it kind of interesting.
I have the blog up now. It is very interesting, that's for sure.
It does let you use a slider bar on some of those where he's talking about it, and you could take the slider bar and say, here's what the picture would look like, and then here's what I would render in ASCII. And so it's hard to explain, but all you'd have to do is see it, and you're like, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand what MJ is talking about. Now it makes sense. Okay. So yeah, just take a quick look at it, and you're fine.
Can you think of any practical use cases for this, or is it more or less just an interesting art project?
I have seen things like this already used for, I mean, I know I talk about it sometimes, but the Dwarf Fortress game,
Uh-huh.
the Dwarf Fortress game, if you buy it on Steam, it has a legacy mode in it. And if you click on the legacy mode, it switches to ASCII. And so everything's back to ASCII. And so it looks like you're playing the game with little ASCII characters on the screen rather than having like grass. It would just be a red period or a green period. If there's blood on the ground, well, it'd be a red period instead of a green period, So it looked like there's spilled blood there. And so you could always like look around with your cursor and say, what's here? And it would say grass with blood on it or something like that, And so you'd see interesting things like that, but visually it would only give you a little indication of what's there, not like a real indication, like a real graphics engine. But anytime you wanted to render something and be quick about it and not overwhelm your graphics engine, or if you have no graphics card, it could be very useful. I've seen things like this before. I've seen on websites that do this, where they'll paint a picture or something, and the picture, if you look close enough, it's nothing but ASCII characters. And it's pretty amazing. Visually, it's just amazing to me. But as far as something useful, I don't know, maybe not useful, but definitely kind of cool, Definitely for a retro enthusiast like me, right?
Right. Especially if you have a connection with something like that from an old game you used to play.
Yeah, talking about Dwarf Fortress, that's a game I used to play a lot. Well, I look at the Steam version. I don't play it. I don't play the Steam version. It just, to me, it just does not real. It's like the real version of Dwarf Fortress was the old version.
Gotcha.
You know how it is.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to do your thing next, and then go back to me?
Yeah, I can do that. I don't really have a website, but I do have a couple mods I thought I would highlight, and I just picked one from each game that we primarily talk about, Hytale and Minecraft. So I guess I'll start with Hytale, and it's in reference to some of the things we were just talking about with the maps. So that was the Better Map mod. When that was working properly, and again, maybe it is, they've probably updated it and got it working again. I loved this map mod for a very simple reason. Whenever you open your map, the only area you can see is within a certain radius of your player. Now, if you're trying to go by, well, realistically, visually, you can only see this far, that doesn't really work, because what if you have mountains? Like, you can't see over the mountains, and yet your map is showing you the rendering of these mountains on the other side of them. So in my mind, that's not a good excuse But what the Better Map mod does is it stores and it remembers all the areas you have previously been. So when you open up your map, you can look around to all the areas you've been. So much easier to navigate. So much easier to see, oh yeah, this was that one area that I went to. To me, it makes more sense because even if you were to, let's say, make a real map, you would be jotting things down as you go. So you'll know, like, okay, my map, I know I've been to that area. I have it right here. So to me, this is something that I feel like Hytale needs to implement. If they're going to have a map like they have, it should implement these features. That way, it will be, in my opinion, it's a lot better as far as navigating and just generally just seeing finding what you're looking for, kind of thing.
Maybe that's why they call it Better Map.
If it's better, why isn't it in the game? No, I'm just kidding.
That's it's a good point. It kind of goes back to that journaling discussion we had earlier. Being able to like figure out where you've been or like remember where you were and figure out what you wanted to do this time that you just opened the game and you're like, what do I do? Where am I? Yeah. So like trying to remember what you were doing.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a mod too. And this mod, I just picked Hytale. And it is Essentials Plus. Now in Minecraft, I think every administrator of every server knows about Essentials, especially the old Essentials, and then they switched to Essentials X. Essentials X is pretty standard mod or a plugin that people have added to Minecraft servers for a long time. Well, Hytale has it too, and it's called Essentials Plus. And so far, the person that's kind of taken the lead on it is FOF1092. I don't know how to say his name, FOF1092. But anyway, he's made this Essentials Plus, and it gives you all those commands, like the warping and the homes and I don't know, being able to talk to each other, message. I haven't really tried that, but because we're never really on at the same time. We play a lot. We're not on the same time. So a lot of those things, I'm happy at a command line. So commands don't make a big deal to me, but they do kind of do a little bit of a bridge. So you can type /homes and it will present you a list in a graphical form of here's the homes that you have, and you click on which one you want. Or you can just type /home and then type the name of it, and you'll just zip there. You're suddenly there. Although it has been a little buggy sometimes. I find that I don't do anything when I first teleport somewhere. Like don't get in a rush to like open something or go through a set of doors or whatever. Just take a breath, just take a breath and then open the doors or then open the chest or whatever. I have found that, you kind of need to do that because otherwise it kind of gets a little buggy and it needs to load in some assets, I guess. Otherwise you're going to suffer a crash. But in any case, one of the big things is our server's working much better now that I've got a server with more memory. So that's helped a lot too. Anyway, back to you.
Oh, I appreciate you updating the server too like that. You did mention something about Hytale liking that memory. So I'm assuming it's definitely using up a good portion of it.
Yeah, it's 11 the memory. It's like, I think I'll stretch out and make myself at home.
Well, let's hope that doesn't interfere too much with the Minecraft server itself. I'm sure you have that partitioned pretty well, though.
Yeah, Minecraft uses up an 8 gig and just grabs it and just doesn't let go. So that was kind of a problem before because it would get up to about 6 or something, grab it, and then it would only leave like 2 or 3 for, Hytale. But now that I've got 32 gig of RAM, it's like not a big deal for both of them. So right now they're both together consuming about 8 gig. Nobody's playing, but, once somebody jumps on, I noticed that every time somebody jumps on, it just pretty much doubles. And so it was hating it whenever like 3 of us would get on. That was just too much. It would be like if a fourth person got in, it was kind of like, I should leave because I'm just making everybody suffer.
Yeah.
So now we don't have to. So hopefully it'll be all right.
Nice. Okay, so the final mod I was going to just kind of mention that I really do like This is more for people who like to just jump into creative mode and are just looking to build. Maybe they're trying to build an environment. Maybe they're trying to create a city, a village, whatever, but they're not interested in that long play. They want to maybe take a week or two and just do the whole thing. And this mod is, in my opinion, it's like a much more advanced style of world edit. If you've used World Edit, great tool, has been for so many years in Minecraft. But this mod is called Axiom. I have utilized this a few times. I was working on a little bit of an adventure map. I never really got very far with it. Again, life, busy. But my goal was I wanted to utilize this tool to just try to make buildings a little bit quicker, to make like towns and villages and different things that you could travel to. It works great, and it has so many different tools, like, you can literally paint with it. Like, you have a wall, you just built a full wall super fast, took you only, like, 5 seconds, but now, okay, I want to texture it, I want it to look differently. The Axiom has tools for that. You can choose which blocks you want to utilize as a texture. You can set up a color palette so that you know what know exactly what you're looking for as far as the color palette that you want. It is just an amazing mod if you are looking to just creatively build stuff without the survival grind that comes with regular Minecraft. So if you're ever interested in working on an adventure map to just implementing different things like that, highly recommend it. Axiom is a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's cool. That only leaves maybe some some of the more I guess technical aspects of the podcast.
Mhm.
And you've made a website for us, so I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, so we have all the socials. We have Instagram. We have, which nothing's on Instagram yet. I will be putting out something from this podcast. We have X as well. Same thing. I'll have something out on there. Depending on which ones you use, you'll be able to utilize that. We have an email now.
That's
So
Twitter for you old folks.
yes, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. But we also do have an email. So here's the thing, guys. We would love to hear from you. If you have maybe a question about what we just talked about in this episode, or maybe you have some input, maybe you want to throw something out there. Maybe there's something we said that you don't agree with. You want to share with us why you feel a different way. Absolutely fine. Please do that.
That's crazy talk.
No, everybody agrees with us. No, not
yeah.
but please do that. You can find that also on our website. So the website is mjandblue.carrd.co. So I'll say that again, mjandblue.carrd.co. So this is just a very simple website, nothing super fancy, but it'll have links at the bottom for all these things. We also have set up a Buy Me a Coffee account. So if you want to support what we're doing, if you want to hear more about our feelings on gaming, a lot primarily on Minecraft and Hytale, it seems, but maybe help us out a little bit here and there. Maybe we can slowly build up and maybe buy some better equipment for various things with audio and all that. We would definitely appreciate it. Obviously, don't feel obligated, but a little bit can help out a lot, and we always do appreciate that. So please visit our website. You can see a little bit of a bio on me and MJ, and hopefully get a little bit more info on that.
All right. I think that wraps up our episode. So I have been MJ. I appreciate you listening.
And I have been Blue. Enjoy your day, everybody.